That's right. So, Joy, Wayne County is where the city of Detroit is located. It is the largest county in our state. There's overwhelming vote, and these partisans have decided not to do their legal duty, and their rationale is not a legally justifiable rationale. And so it will now get kicked to the State Board of Canvassers, and we'll see where it goes from there. But we are preparing for all sorts of different potential paths that this takes. There's no question that Joe Biden won the state of Michigan. He won it by 14 times the margin that Donald Trump won it just 4 years earlier. So we ran a great election, no drama. It was fair and safe and secure, and we're going to see this through.
Well, notably, it's extremely rare. I mean, this is a board that performs a ministerial function of certifying the results. They have in every election in years past, even just this past August, certified the results, even with significant greater clerical errors. And so, it really is disheartening when you consider, obviously, this is a majority Black city, the largest jurisdiction in the state of Michigan. And here are two individuals going far beyond their role to invalidate the votes of tens of thousands of African Americans in the state of Michigan.
And the president, after that decision, tweeted, "Wow, Michigan just refused to certify the election results. Having courage is a beautiful thing. The USA stands proud." That was not the whole state of Michigan, mind you. That was just Wayne County. And the president tweeted that just a few minutes before this decision, this revote came down, where they overturned their previous decision when they were deadlocked, and now voted unanimously. Total 180 from the Wayne County Board of Canvassers there in Detroit, now agreeing to certify the election results on that condition that Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson there in the state of Michigan conducts an audit of any irregularities amongst the vote in that county.
We also know that the Secretary of State and the Attorney General have already tweeted out that your legal arguments are rubbish and you're going to lose when it comes to court. So we're not worried about that at all. I'm also not worried about any of your, things are bad so we can't certify arguments, because that's just ridiculous. You certified in August when they were worse. Less than 50% of the ballots were recountable. Now over 72% are. 58% of them were even balanced when it was less than 30% last time. So it's doubled. It's gotten way better because the Secretary of State actually jumped in and did her job, unlike you. But I know it's not going to change your opinion. You talked about not certifying Detroit, even though you acknowledged that Livonia, a city, by the way, I know you know is 95% white, had bigger variances than Detroit, which is 80% Black. We understand, and you now added your name. So I'm not going to try to change your mind. I just want to let you know that the Trump stink, the stain of racism that you, William Hartman, and Monica Palmer have just covered yourself in, is going to follow you throughout history. Your grandchildren are going to think of you like Bull Connor or George Wallace. Monica Palmer and William Hartman will forever be known in southeastern Michigan as two racists who did something so unprecedented that they disenfranchised hundreds of thousands of Black voters in the city of Detroit because they were ordered to. Probably, I know, Monica, you think Q told you to do it or some other crazy stuff like that. But just know, when you try to sleep tonight, that millions of people around the world now on Twitter know the name Monica Palmer and William Hartman as two people completely racist and without an understanding of what integrity means or a shred of human decency. The law isn't on your side, history won't be on your side, your conscience will not be on your side, and Lord knows, when you go to meet your maker, your soul is going to be very, very warm.
Thank you.
What people want is they want all the votes to be counted.
Nobody on the left is claiming that Joe Biden's going to win big on game day.
Right, because the left understands that Democrats more seriously and will prefer to vote from home.
The vote that counts is when you go into a booth and close it.
Why?
And because it has no ability to be handled by anybody else.
Steve, we have a system, every system in this country, including the system by which your candidate won in 2016.
Every vote that's certified should count. But they're going to try to overturn this election with uncertified votes. It's going to be crazy lawsuits on naked ballots, on every different aspect of it. Those counting rooms are going to be knife fights. With this scale of votes, we'll go into January, and that's when the firestorm starts.
That you think will end up being, it's still January, we don't have a president.
Yes.
And the fight then moves to Washington.
Yes.
How do you think it ends up?
Right before noon on the 20th, in a vote in the House, Trump will win the presidency.
Welcome to the War Room, ladies and gentlemen. We're not here to waste your time. Let me be brutally frank. This in Michigan, they will not certify that vote. In Pennsylvania, they will not certify that vote. In Georgia, they will not certify that vote. And in Nevada, they will not certify that vote. And as soon as the campaign wires $8 million to Wisconsin and we begin the recanvassing, the auditing, and the recount in Wisconsin, they will not certify that vote. It is game on now. President Trump has canceled going to Mar-a-Lago. You know why? It's fight time. We're in the fight club, okay? And they're losing. That's why they're in meltdown, right? Are they going to get this guy for cyberbullying? Is that Ned Staebler? Is that Ned Staebler? The Ned Staebler?
That is the Ned Staebler.
Ned Staebler, dude, your whole thing. And here's the thing: it's Tariq. I want to go back to Tariq. I want to go back to Tariq's Twitter feed. I want to put Tariq's Twitter feed up here. The finesse. Tariq, what's his last name? Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed. Nasheed. And what's the foundation he runs?
Foundational Black Americans.
Foundational Black American. I don't agree with everything on there, but I agree with a lot on there. Coming from a black neighborhood in Richmond, Virginia. He called it on November 4th or 5th. I think it was the evening of the 4th, but the 5th. I forget when the first one. The finesse. The finesse. He nailed it. The finesse. They're in meltdown. What the mainstream media is not reporting, in the two individuals and they are going to be known. Of course, they're doxing them, but they're going to be known throughout the world as patriots. And here's why. They made a condition to that vote. The vote was conditional. You got to audit. You have to audit Wayne County, right? The other county, Genesee, there's other counties that have not certified. I think Genesee, I think there's a couple more. But you got to audit Wayne County, Detroit, right? You're going to audit the finesse. And the Secretary of State, the Trump campaign this morning, you got a great guy in Michigan. You got Dave Coleman doing the state. The Trump campaign in Michigan should go into federal court this morning and get an injunction. We want to see every phone call, every text, everything was said in that room. Every piece of illegal pressure put on those two Republicans. Everything, all of it. When you turn the rocks over, and you see the way they panicked, they went right on Joy Reid. You go right to the racism. It's all racist, right? All racist. You got to go into federal court and get an injunction. You want to see everything that went on in that room. This is all conditioned on a full audit. Now, Secretary of State's got to do it. The Board of Electors, two Republicans, I think they meet Monday. But remember, all these dates are movable. They're all movable feast. The only day, take your date book out right now. Take the 14th of December. Write it down. Games stop then. Games stop then. Of course, all the never-Trumpers out last night, oh, no, this can't happen. You're taking the wrong denominator. It's of the applied votes. No, you're wrong. It's going to the House. Wisconsin, they're going to send the money out today. We're going to do the recount, the re-audit, an audit, a recanvass, because you got to pay for the recount. $8 million. Donald Trump in golf is called pressing the bet. He just pressed his bet, right? Pressed his bet, likes his odds now. Canceled Mar-a-Lago. No time for happy talk. No family gathering. You know, we got to do it. You got to have it. You got to give thanks. We always give thanks in the middle of war, but he doesn't have time to go down there in glad hand. He's over at the White House. He just pressed his bet with an $8 million wire to Wisconsin. And everybody tells me out there, Wisconsin's the lowest hanging fruit we got. Okay? In Michigan, patriots are standing up. You can't certify Michigan. We're going to unwind what happened at 4 in the morning. Don't have to put up a slate of electors. Don't put up a slate of electors. Just can't certify the vote. Can't certify the vote. In Pennsylvania, Rudy Giuliani, God bless him, 74 years old. If you look in the courtroom, you got Kirkland Ellis, you got Hale Dorr, you got Kirkland Ellis, Hale Dorr. I'll think of the other firm in a second. You got three of the biggest. It looked like the Paul Newman movie, right? You got Rudy. You got the female lawyer who I think is quit, or she's just going to go to the state case. You got the talk radio host, who's also a lawyer. You know, I think he does. I think he does parking. I don't know what he does. He's a talk radio host, also a lawyer. And you got Boris. We got the four guys. Looks like the Couch and Animal House. Okay. And they got like 9 white shoe law firms. They got 35 partners. They have 40 associates. They got memos going up and briefs and everything like that. And you got Rudy. And Rudy argues for 5 or 6 hours. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in, we got the man. I'm going to be in a rant all day. I'm getting tired of winning. You got Lynn Wood down in Georgia. He's got the receipts. Jack Maxey broke it. Boom, done, can't certify. You got Michigan. They're going to stand tall. Boom, can't certify. You got Wisconsin. Boom, can't certify. You got Rick Grinnell and Laxalt and Schlapp out in Nevada. The Democrats been digging up the dead so they can vote. Boom, can't certify. You got that. You got the supervisor rates 135,000. Can't certify. 5 out of 6. The only one's going to come close to certification. We'll check that too. But in Arizona, write it down. It's McCain. It's Romney. It's Flake. And it's the Lincoln Project. I don't like to be like the left and take names. I'm just throwing out some random elements there, right? So Arizona may actually be certified. Maybe. We don't know. Got to dig down on that one. Jack Posobiec. Tell me about Posobiec. Tell me about, is it Ned Staebler? Let's make this guy famous. Who is this guy? He's threatening people. He's acting like a crazy man. I mean, he makes me look like a guy from the Rotary Club.
And he's ranting from what appears to be a Greek temple built in the center of his house. What the heck is all that about?
Yeah, what is this? Posobiec, you're from your Polish descent. What is it going on? Is it a Greek temple? Who is this guy? Let's make him famous.
Yeah, Steve, this guy, Ned Staebler, I mean, he's basically this guy. He's been all over Twitter for the past couple of weeks leading up to this. And we've gone through just his account. We've been looking at the stuff that he's been promoting. I mean, everything under the sun. This is a guy who is using Antifa-level tactics to go after county officials that are asking, all they're asking for is a verification of the vote. They want to certify the vote. He immediately plays the race card, and he plays it as hard as he can, as loud as he can. There's even a guy who comes on after him, Abraham Ayash, who's a guy who's just running for state rep right now. He went so far as to go in and name the school that Monica Palmer's children go to. He named their school.
Hang on for a second. I want to pull that. Get the Denver guys to pull that. Denver, the Real America's Voice, John Fredericks Radio Network, all our producer part. I want to pull that. Okay, keep going, Posobiec. By the way,
so what he does is he goes...
hang on, Jack.
I bet they go to this school. I bet they go here.
Jack, hang on for a second. We got a commercial break. Just hang on, we'll come right back to you. Jack Posobiec. We got Fog City Midge. We got the one and only Raheem Kassam. We got Jack Maxey, Stephen K. Bannon. We're in the war room today, and it's game day, okay? We're winning now. It's all coming together, and the left is melting down because they can't stop what's happening.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
One quick point. So I was on the ballot, and I'm the state rep-elect for House District 4, and we have been without a state representative since March 29th because my friend and state representative passed away from COVID-19. Now, your refusal to certify the election today, despite me not having any challenger on the ballot for the partial term, despite having no one filed to run as a write-in, will continue to deny the people of House District 4 of Hamtramck in Detroit that is majority black to have a voice in the state legislature. Now, Ms. Palmer, you mentioned how you want to change that the laws have to be changed by the legislature. I can tell you this much. Let me go to Lansing and we'll get to work. Now, let me be also very clear about this. The party that you are a part of had complete control over our state government for 8 years, and they did not do a single thing. So while you may show us your caucasity today in refusing to certify the election and making note that you are okay with certifying all of Wayne County except Detroit, know that we see what's happening. Know that there is nothing other than Jim Crowing that is going on right now, and recognize the facts. The Republican Party's major candidate has sued over 25 times across the country, and he failed. Know the facts. You, as the Board of Canvassers, do not decide who is to be elected. The voters do. Know the facts. You are standing here today telling folks that Black Detroit should not have their votes counted. And know the facts. You are certainly showing that you are a racist. You may say that you are not. You may claim that you are not. But let's be very clear. Your words today and your actions today made it clear that you are okay with silencing the votes of an 80% African American city. And what that tells us is you, Miss Monica Palmer from Grosse Pointe Woods, which has a history of racism, are deciding to enable and continue to perpetuate the racist history of this country.
Okay, we want to bring back now Jack Posobiec. You're in the war room, and the game is on. From Michigan to Wisconsin to Pennsylvania to Georgia to Nevada. We'll throw in Arizona, but it's game on 5 states that will not be able to certify the illegal vote of Joe Biden. But right before I get to bringing Posobiec back in, here's the other tell. When we won, or when Obama won, or when Bush won, or when Clinton won, every day in the Wall Street Journal, every day in the New York Times, there's multiple articles. This guy from Wall Street's fighting for this job. This guy from corporate America wants this job. This guy from the political parties. It's total crickets about Biden. You can't see any stories about guys. You see a bunch of third-tier grundoons that nobody knows off his campaign. Nobody in the House, nobody in the Senate, nobody in corporate America. No, you know why that is? They know they're stealing it, and they don't want to be associated with it. If it happens, they want to steal it, but they don't want to have their hands on it. Everybody in corporate America, everybody on Wall Street, everybody out there that gets associated. This guy talks about the stink of Trump. This stinks to high heaven. You've been caught red-handed trying to steal this. That's why you're trying to shut down this show. This is why you shut down my voice. This is why you're trying to shut down everybody on Twitter. This is why the conservative treehouse is getting deplatformed. It's not going to work. It's not. The Sidney Powell thing, Sidney Powell's fantastic. You know what she is? She's a free option. Her thing is going to tie everything together. I believe she's going to come forward and get it sorted now. But hers is actually a more important project to get it right. Right now, we got this. Here's what we got. They can't certify this. That's why they're in meltdown. That's why they're playing the race card. Remember, what did I say the first couple of days when I took over the campaign in 2016? When Hillary Clinton came out, Breitbart, white national. I said, if she's playing the race, she's playing identity politics, and we're playing populism and economic nationalism, we will beat her. And we were 12 points down at the time with no money. Once they play the race card, it's the last refuge of a scoundrel. They have nothing else. They have nothing else. Now they got the new card. The dox you, show where your kids are, all of it. Jack Posobiec, tell me about Ned Staebler. Tell me about this individual that we're going to make very famous.
Well, Steve, Ned Staebler, the Staebler name is a very well-known name in Democrat politics in Michigan. His grandfather was Neil Staebler, a guy who was chairman of the Central Committee of the Michigan Democrat Party, actually ran against Mitt Romney's father for governor there in Michigan back in the 1980s. So this is a very, very powerful family when it comes to Michigan Democrat politics. This guy, Ned Staebler himself, he's been around, Harvard grad, and believe it or not, Steve, you'll be happy to know, he was a former member, worked over at Bear Stearns in their London office, one of the paragons of American and international finance.
Hang on. For Tariq and all of Black America, remember, the collapse of 2008 by the establishment of both parties, the financial crisis, the bailout by Geithner and all the Wall Street faction of the Democratic Party in bed with the Republican Party establishment, blew up the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve, had the greatest concentration of wealth in mankind's history during the most progressive presidency. That's where the 1% started to aggregate all this wealth and power more than the framers thought. And guess who caused that, ladies and gentlemen? Ned Staebler and the scumbags at Bear Stearns and the scumbags at Lehman Brothers. Bear Stearns took your money in a bailout. Ned Staebler is one of the main reasons for the financial collapse. It is Bear Stearns and the scumbags on Wall Street. Bear Stearns being the scummiest of it, even scummier than Lehman Brothers. Lehman Brothers just made a decision, we can't continue to bail this out anymore. Hank Paulson, right? So he's a managing director of the London office, and he's lecturing the deplorables about how they comport themselves. You have a managing director from the London office, the biggest scumbag operation of a scumbag operation, that one of the triggering events of causing the financial collapse is the bailout of Bear Stearns, and he's going to sit there in his Greek temple and lecture to Trump supporters? I got news for you, bro. You're not lecturing anybody. Okay? You're the problem. And now he's going to sit there in his Twitter feed. Oh, he's all self-righteous. He's all Black Lives Matter. You destroyed the African-American community in this country, their economic well-being, sir. While you rent seeker, you stripped the profits and put it in your Greek temple back with your corrupt family in Michigan. Are they going to take this down on Twitter? They're going to take this. This is righteous indignation about the way the system works. There's no conspiracy. You're seeing it right now. This is the way the system works. They rip you off with your money, with the pension fund. They rip you off. Then they get bailed out. Bear Stearns got bailed out by a Republican administration, I might add. Hank Paulson. The disaster that was the Bush administration. All the Bushies and Bush sitting there, oh yeah, he's president-elect. Incorrect, sir. He's no more president-elect than Al Gore was when your daddy had to send Jim Baker to bail you out down in Florida. Had to send somebody down there because you're too incompetent to know what you're doing. Sitting up there on the podium on Inauguration Day. Man, that's some crazy stuff. The only problem with President Trump's inauguration address, he should have turned the podium around and faced you guys. You're the problem. Ned Staebler's bailed out by you. And now he comes back 12 years later. He's going to lecture the deplorables. Because he's virtue signaling. Look at his Twitter feed. He's Mr. Virtue Signaling. Where were you virtue signaling, dude, when you destroyed African-American families who are trying to buy homes? And you're selling them that paper, that's crap paper, skimming the profits. And so then when you foreclose on them and blow them out of all their net worth, where were you, Ned Staebler? You're in London with the most corrupt part of a corrupt investment bank. This is the way the system works. Not a conspiracy. It's the system works this way.
Everybody else went broke, but apparently Ned Staebler's still able to live in a Greek temple. This is the problem. We got $29 billion from the Federal Reserve because you, as a managing director, a partner in Bear Stearns, drove that company into the ground and the American taxpayer bailed you out.
Ned Staebler, come forward. We want to hear this today. You know what we're going to have, Ned? Let's have a struggle session. I'm just using a figure of speech. We're going to have a digital struggle session. You're up there, you and the other guy are doxing people, telling where the kids live and everything like that.
And then he's also, I love how he says, your mortal soul is in danger. Really?
Yeah. You're going to burn in the pits of. I guess I can't say that as a Catholic.
Well, you could.
Okay,
quote,
maybe I can.
Him.
Maybe I
you
can.
Quote him.
Okay, I'm going to bring in Posobiec. Posobiec, get me off the soapbox for a second. I'll be banned everywhere, including in the war room. Go ahead, sir.
Steve, what this really shows is, if President Trump and the campaign want to get serious about this, they've got to send legal representation, and at this point, I would even say send physical protection, bodyguards up to any of these Republican officials, protect them to protect their families, because it's not just the Ned Stablers, but imagine the amount of crazies that follow him on Twitter, that follow his social media, that hear his words, and then want to go and take the next step. You need to be able to protect the people that are standing up to defend the rule of law and defend the republic that we have right now. And that's why the president and the campaign need to get serious about this, because it's not about just him standing up there. It's not just about Rudy being up in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. It's about these guys, the county officials, doing the right thing.
Jack, hang on for 1 second. Take a quick break. I got to have you back because I want to ask you about how the critical path, how this plays out. We're going to return with Jack Posobiec from One American News. He's been all over this. You got Fog City Midge, Raheem Kassam, Jack Maxey, and I promise we're going to let them all speak in the next segment. We'll return in just a moment.
Everything's begun, and you are over. 'Cause we're taking down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till the
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Welcome back to War Room. The guy, Staebler, goes on a rant about George Wallace. Please remember, sir, that George Wallace won the Democratic primary. Am I not correct, Jack Maxey? Won the Democratic primary in 1968? Or 70, he won the Democratic primary. He'd have been the nominee. He'd been the Democratic nominee if he wasn't gunned down, I think, a week later in a suburban shopping center in Maryland. A Democrat, sir. By the way, his father, their family was in Ann Arbor.
Ann Arbor forever. His grandfather was the mayor of Ann Arbor in the 20s and 30s, and I'll have proof by the end of the day, but I guarantee you it would have been absolutely impossible to be a Democratic elected official in Ann Arbor in the 1920s and 30s without the Ku Klux Klan
The Klan's
support.
all over, come on, all over Michigan. Klan's all over Michigan.
And they were a Democratic Party element.
Staebler, come clean today. I'm using this as a figure of speech before your struggle session. Right, we're gonna have come clean with all your crimes, all your financial crimes. Come clean, sir, with all the crimes of your family of supporting the Klan. Just because we're gonna have it all. We're going to have it all, including all your crazy stuff on Facebook, sir. Bad unit. Okay, Raheem Kassam, Jack Posobiec.
Look, I just want to bring up something because in the last segment we heard as well from this Abraham Ayash guy, right? And Abraham Ayash is the Democratic Socialist candidate, right? This is the one that the DSA have endorsed, have campaigned with, have put their resources behind, and this is in Hamtramck. And for those of you that don't know, Hamtramck is just a little bit to the east of Detroit, and I've visited there in 2016, 2017, right ahead of the publication of my book, No-Go Zones. And I talk in No-Go Zones about Hamtramck and the change that's going on in Hamtramck, and specifically how the demographic shift is leading to a new focus in different types of politics. And in Hamtramck, you saw, I mean, Ayash is of Yemeni background, and I write very at length in this book about the Yemeni politics that are going on there. But it stood out to me, and Jack, I want to get your thoughts on this here, because Ayash just referred to Hamtramck in that clip. He says Hamtramck majority black. Hamtramck is not majority black. Hamtramck is still majority white, maybe by 1 or 2 percentage points, but then you go down further and it's Yemeni, it's Bengali. There's obviously still a great Polish presence in the city as well, and it's a very distinct place. But Ayash is really giving away who he is in this clip, Jack. I want to get your thoughts on this, because he's talking about the change there, and he feels like he can make these threats and dox these people because of this kind of mafia that's being built up now in places like Hampshire?
Well, I think one of the things that we have to remember is that they've been threatening violence from the beginning. Or are you talking to Jack Posobiec?
Sorry,
I apologize. That they've been threatening violence from the beginning, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Jack. Pick it up, brother.
Oh yeah, we're doing that Jack and Jack thing. No, it's very clear what he's doing is that he's using these. He's using immigration. He's using the changing, groups that are coming into the area to call for essentially what he's doing by pitting people against one another, by outlining these groups, by dividing people. He's using a sort of divide and conquer strategy. It's us versus them.
Well, hold on, Jack, what was the word he used? He used the word caucasity, right? He was being racist against white people. Like, I mean, that is the same as somebody saying the N-word, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. So he used first of all, he used that word on the live stream last night. Then now this morning he said, well, I didn't even know what the word doxing meant. I never even heard of doxing. Dude, you named the school her kids go to. And even if you don't know the specific word for that, you ought to know right from wrong. But if you know what the word caucasity is, which is a pretty common word that's used on the far left in DSA circles, then I'm going to bet you know what doxing is as well, dude. I don't buy it.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And Steve, when you're looking at whether it's Staebler or Staebler, rather, by the way, whether it's Staebler or Ayash, what you're seeing here is an intentional segregating of certain groups.
It's a new fascism.
It's a new fascism. It's a segregating of certain groups, just like Posobiec said just now, and using that kind of the otherness to attack the opposite side. But you're right. You're right. When you say, hey, when they hit you with racism, it's because it's one of the last things they've got left. The problem is now you've got local politicians, local Republicans in an unfriendly, Republican-unfriendly place who are being doxxed, who are having their kids threatened, and who don't have any protections for themselves right now. It's difficult. The president...
State GOP, RNC, the campaign, got to step up. You got to provide protection. People have to feel like... it should be local authorities. But you can't always count on that, right? You're going to have to do it yourself. That's what you got to, and it's got to be called out. We have to call these people out and expose what they're trying to do to basically citizens trying to do their own work. You wouldn't see Republicans if they had voted some way. You wouldn't see Republicans sitting there going and crazy on them. It's when they attack people like this and try to threaten them that you're seeing this, and particularly this thing metastasized after President Trump tweeted out about their courage. Posobiec, anything else that we're missing here about this situation in Michigan? Because Michigan, as we've been saying, is going to become a new battleground on the certification effort. This is one of the reasons we've been following Dave Coleman's lawsuit in state court. Anything we're missing about Michigan?
Well, I think the main thing we need to understand is that Wayne, and I don't think we've said it, but just for folks who don't understand the geography, Wayne County is the county of Michigan that includes Detroit. So when they're talking about the certification of ballots, they're talking about the Detroit machine, the machine that we know for years has been using these type of Baba Booey tactics to be able to machine count or machine pump through as many ballots as possible. What we need to do is make sure that also keep the people safe, because we also know that the type of shall we say, assets that can come out of Detroit to go after these families, and when they're putting these threats behind them, they mean it.
Jack Posobiec from One American News. Jack, thank you very much for joining us here and continuing this reporting. Fantastic job on Twitter overnight. Let's go to hashtag War Room Pandemic in the live stream. What are our folks now engaged in this? I want to make sure everybody's on point. Here's what's happening, just to pull back and look at, and we're going to have producer Vish promises me we're actually going to have a map that we can point to eventually, like at 5 o'clock tonight. A map that shows these battleground states. That this is a fight that's throughout the country. It is a fight to make sure. And you notice Heilman in that clip from the Showtime. He said all votes. No, sir. All legal votes. All certifiable votes. A legal vote should be able to be certified. If it can be certified, it counts. If it can't be certified, it doesn't count. Every vote that is a certified vote must be counted. It must be counted. Not has to be, it must be counted. We must count and include every certifiable vote.
The question I have about this Wayne County flip is, what changed? Was it because that they were threatened, because they felt that their families were threatened, that their livelihoods were threatened?
Yes.
Or was it because the facts had changed? I don't think that it was the facts. I think it was fear.
It was fear. You saw how they got doxxed. Do we have in that clip of Fish? We didn't actually have him. I don't believe threatening the. I know he talked about where she was from, but I don't think we had the part about threatening the about where the school was. I'd love to have that part played if Denver can pull that. Listen. These people are heroes. They didn't fold. They were under enormous. You can't understand from when this thing was announced last night for the next couple of hours. I was telling you guys, and my phone has blown up on a few occasions in my life, and people trying to contact me. It has not blown up like it did last night because people go, "Oh my God, this certification thing is real, right? This is real. You're actually not crazy." No, we're not crazy. We don't waste your time. We're not here to waste your time on War Room, right? When we talk about an impeachment, it's because he's going to get impeached. When we talk about a pandemic, because it is a pandemic. We talk about the plot to steal 2020 when Raheem Kassam and Steve Bannon are schlepping all over to talk about this for months and months and months. We told you what the finesse was going to be. Tariq actually described it better than we did, right? We told you what the finesse was going to be. Here's what happened. I had a very prominent lawyer at one of the top law firms, one of the top constitutional lawyers in town. He said, look, here's what happened. He says, Perkins Coie with Bauer. He says Bauer is an evil genius. Right, hardwired this thing with these different things in different states. With states, the thing in Georgia, in Pennsylvania, in Michigan. He had different horses for different courses. He was able to get it in different ways. And what happened is that the deplorables delivered. Remember what we said, what we preached for weeks and weeks and weeks, and you saw Trump put this on his shoulders. And you saw this awakening, the Great Awakening, from Arizona, the 96-mile caravan, to Florida with the 30,000 Latinos and Hispanics on the anti-communist parade with 54,000 people showing up in Butler, a town of 12,000. You saw this Great Awakening with Trump put it on his shoulders. Here's why. Trump is like those guys you went to high school with that want the ball in the last 2 minutes. They're great athletes, want the ball. They don't shy away from it. They want the ball. He put it on his shoulders, right? And what happened on game day, it was such an overwhelming, stunning outpouring that they had to actually do this more, they had to do it more intensely than they planned on. And that's how we caught him.
I'm just reading up on our friend Ned Staebler as we're going through this.
Staebler or Staebler? Staebler. What town in Germany is he from?
He definitely.
What town?
And my German's not that good, but I think it's a stable boy, probably.
Right. No, Staebler is the guy that used to carry the staff around.
Oh, okay.
Staebler.
Okay, right? Yeah, okay. So
very official.
So he's the.
Remember the opening thing of Gladiator?
He's the early version of Germans in black suits. Anyway, he's running for office at some point in 2010 after he's been participating in the collapse. He's running for the House 53rd.
After he stole your money.
Yeah, exactly. And he's describing his path to how he got there. Somehow he completely neglects in 2010 any participation at Bear Stearns. He talks about going to Harvard and always wanting to be part of public service.
Was it Harvard Business School or Harvard?
He went Harvard undergraduate, but he went to the red diaper baby London School of Economics when he got over there.
Oh my God!
Headed over to Bear Stearns, but he
Central.
neglects that. He neglects to describe even a moment in Bear Stearns because in 2010 he knew that was not a winner for the deplorables of Michigan. The guy is a fraud and a perfect representative of a fraudulent party running a fraudulent vote in Wayne County. You, sir, should be ashamed.
In the afternoon, we're going to have his grandfather. We're going to have his full grandfather's record. We're going to go through his grandfather's record.
Great grandfather.
Great grandfather in Ann Arbor.
Ann Arbor, yes, sir.
We'll be able to go through Ann Arbor Staebler. So we'll be able to we'll walk through Staebler. Hopefully, we'll have all the crimes committed at Bear Stearns of the Bear Stearns London office, right? Stealing from you with both hands, right? The president's weighed in.
He's just tweeted about all of this.
Is he watching the War Room?
I think he might be because he is pumped. He's on your level right now, Steve.
No, he's above my level. I'm just a grunt.
He's on your energy level.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, he's this pumped. So the president just dropped 2 tweets. The first one says, the number, and this is a quote, the numbers have not improved. It is still 71% out of balance, as stated Wayne County, Michigan canvassers. And another quote.
Hang on, we're going to bounce first. We're going to bounce
Oh,
to commercial.
we're going to come back.
We're going to hang and get that quote with Megan as soon as we get back.
Demic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
And what that tells us is you, Miss Monica Palmer from Grosse Pointe Woods, which has a history of racism, are deciding to enable and continue to perpetuate the racist history of this country. And I want you to think about what that means for your kids who probably go to Grosse Pointe North. And when they see all their black classmates and they know that, and what that tells us.
I'm Maggie Vandenberg, also known as Fog City Midge, and you are in the War Room, Washington, D.C. What you just saw is frankly disgusting, and no American politician should ever feel like their family is at threat just because they're doing the right thing and standing up for what they believe in. This is absolutely despicable. It's disgusting.
It would be wrong for the Republicans to say something about what this guy's kids go to high school.
Absolutely.
Right? Particularly with many crazies out there today. Raheem, you're an expert in this. We're not. Is this domestic terrorism?
So, 18 U.S. Code 2331 defines domestic terrorism as involving acts of human life that are a violation of the criminal laws of the United States or of any state, appear to be intended to intimidate or coerce a civilian population, to influence the policy of a government by intimidation or coercion, to affect the conduct of a government by mass destruction, assassination, or kidnapping, and occur primarily within territorial jurisdiction of the United States. I would say it's a yes.
Yeah.
So are the authorities, the Krebs and DHS, I mean, all these guys are talking about the militias being domestic terrorists, and hey, they got to figure out what they're do. They do the investigations, whatever they got to do, right? Got to play by the rules. But why is Krebs and these guys saying, "Oh, this is the most secure election in history"? Where's DHS and checking into like this guy? Where are federal authorities checking into this guy?
I think that a lot of people should be reporting this as domestic terrorism to the authorities and seeing what they'll do, because the establishment in Washington D.C. isn't going to look at this and go, "Oh, we must act off our own volition." It's going to take people and applying pressure. Report it. It's manifestly intended to intimidate and coerce.
The what they try to do is freeze you in place with the charge of racism. Remember, when they get to the charge of racism, right? When they get to the charge of racism, when it's unfounded, and it's totally unfounded, it's unfounded here. This is not about suppressing the vote in Detroit. This is making sure that you get an accurate count of legal votes. And remember, the guy leading the charge here is one of these scumbags from Bear Stearns that stole your money. The reason African Americans took the biggest hit in the financial meltdown of 2008 and got wiped out, their net worth got wiped out in the mortgage scams, it was Bear Stearns and managing directors like Staebler that were bundling these things and selling this crap paper that got everybody blown out, right? It was totally and completely unfair. But Staebler is living in a big mansion. He's running for office, and he has a memory hole where his Bear Stearns days were. You know why? He was stealing your money, like Bear Stearns was, in a complete corrupt bailout.
And he was in capital markets, too.
Oh, God, the worst. The capital markets desk at Bear Stearns is one of the biggest problems. Staebler, anytime you want to get on the stage, because I went to Harvard Business School, not the college. College for all you elite. You see, your scumbag family, that's how scumbags like you get to Harvard College. That's because I went to the trade school. I didn't go to I went to the trade school. I got my Wall Street Union card stamped, right? I wasn't one of the guys. I went to thank God Abraham Lincoln created land grant universities. I went to a land grant university with the rest of the deplorables. Maggie, The President of the United States, he's as fired up as folks in the war room this morning, isn't he?
He is fired up. He posted a couple tweets right before the break. The first one says, "The numbers have not improved. It is still 71% out of balance." That's a quote stated from Wayne County, Michigan canvassers. It goes on. "There is widespread irregularities in poll numbers. There are more votes than people. The 2 harassed Patriot canvassers refused to sign the papers." There we go. We got that tweet up. And then the second one, he goes on, "In Detroit, there are far more votes than people. Nothing can be done to cure that giant scam. I win Michigan."
There you have it.
There you have it. Now, the affirmation of that win may come on January 15th in the House of Representatives when the Michigan delegation votes to affirm your November 3rd victory, because I think we're in the decertification process, right? So who knows? Here's the thing. This is what I want to say, and I want to make sure that the war room pandemic. Why does this show have stroke? It's because of the audience. We have stroke because of the audience, because of what happened on Saturday. They understand you're an unstoppable force. You thwarted them in 2016, right? You thwarted them first in 2010 in the House race. Then you thwarted them again in 2016. And now you're Jack, you seeing something?
I'm just laughing. We're thinking of the Greek temple. Now we won Michigan. I can say that he is no Leonidas. You know what I'm saying? And I can't imagine right now, because you see this guy. He's so puffed up. He's got his little polo shirt on. It's just perfectly tight. Probably wears short.
He pops the collar.
Yeah,
he pops the collar.
You know what I mean? And this guy is literally in the fetal position right now. I guarantee it.
Well, if he's not. By the way, by quoting Leonidas, we're going to get another. Maxey uses Yale to do from memory. Horatius at the gate. Horatius at the gate. He does from memory Horatius at the gate, and we are blown up on left-wing media as wanting to cause murder. That's different than the other. Horatius at the gate. Oh no, we're fomenting civil war. Violent reaction. It's Horatius at the gate, folks.
It's actually the defense of Rome against the invasion of the barbarians.
Right.
And that's really what Donald Trump is. He is Horatius at the gate for America.
This is what we're doing. We're going to count all legal votes in the state of Michigan. If we can't get there, it's not going to get certified. Wisconsin's not going to get certified. Michigan's not going to get certified. Pennsylvania's not going to get certified. Georgia's not going to get certified. Nevada's not going to get certified. And here's what's going to happen. Nancy Pelosi, that big old gavel, is going to be she's going to be gaveling in a vote in the House of Representatives in January, which is going to affirm Donald J. Trump's massive victory on the 3rd of November of this year and set up for him to take the oath of office at high noon on the 20th of January, the year of our Lord 2021. We're going to take a short break. We return. 2 rock stars next. Boris Epstein from the campaign to walk us through everything, one of the lawyers, and Chris Buskirk from American Greatness.